That's the whole thing. If you have three tunes, you're paying $120, which is still a ridiculous amount of money. Like,
Hmm.
but we play the game. We understand what it costs, right? So it's not like somebody's holding a gun to our head or anything. When we get into this game, we know what it costs. But when you have six of them, right, that doubles your output. So that can be pretty tough to deal with. Now, we do have to take into account times you get lucky. That you pull on the wheel one time, bam, you got a five times a tune, but that's a rare occurrence. You know what I mean? So um I just think that if there was more places for the tunes to be used, like there has been a revival for me. I've been doing a lot of faction assault because it's like, okay, you can only use five saviors. All right. So now I have to figure out, okay, what combination of saviors I'm going to use. You know what I mean? Is there a healer on this team? Does it have Guardian Shield? How do I get around infection from the boss? So it did bring back a little bit of a spark and revival, because you can use only certain setups with faction assault. So I thought that was interesting. But they could take that towards all parts of the game, right? A survival road where you only use these people. You know what I mean? Beef up the nightmare mode. Like, it's just so many options that you can be able to do. And I can see why people say, like, it feels like they don't care.
I just think even if they put some, better offers out, like because some of the offers are just priced way too high. I mean, I don't know about everyone, but for myself, my average is like 18 to 24 pulls on both wheels,
Oh,
so it's just ridiculous.
mm-hmm.
So when you're obviously, buying 30 or three pulls, well, on the ultra too, I think three pulls, I think around 80, £90, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And see, that's why remember earlier I made the statement. I was saying, like, well, I had luck on this wheel, but then on the other wheel, I don't have luck. But then there's people who don't have luck on any wheel. So then you're pulling more, so you're absolutely right. I think if tunes was cheaper, people would probably spend more.
I agree with that, definitely.
You know what I mean? If I had to spend $100 to get five of the tune, I would spend $100 to get five of that tune. But I'm not gonna spend $700 to get five of a tune, or three
Well,
hundred
that's the
dollars. So
Exactly, and then it puts people off even wanting to bother because, a G4, G5, even LB1,
no
most
good.
of the skills are locked behind the LB3.
Yep.
And who's going to want to drop that kind of money if they know, I always look at it like I'm going to have to go the full 30 pulls. So if I'm not in a position to do that, I won't even attempt to do one.
Makes sense. Yep.
And one of the things that one of my chief complaints, I brought this up earlier on, when they re-released the structure of how they were going to go forward with promos and the wheels and everything like that, was, if you're this is what you're going to go, if you're going to you're going to lower the opportunity to mitigate the cost that you would spend in game. Obviously, we knew ways to mitigate cost of gold coins in the old system. There was things like Tapjoy. There was saving up, while you were leveling up, to level 300, you were able to get coin yield from your levels. That's gone. There was other ways to save. Obviously, one of the biggest ways that we joke around about is, Olay saves the day. That was, a
Yes,
great way to
sir.
not have to pay. Yeah, that was a great way to not have to pay directly for the product in terms of how much you were coming out of pocket. But if you're gonna eliminate that completely, then lower the mercy count in terms of what
Yep.
it takes, how many pulls it takes to get a tune. Um, six, like Mandy said, if you got to go 30 pulls, and let's say you've maxed out your offers, when they come out with one where it's like, oh, hey, only pay $80 for 60 ultra tokens. All right, cool. I only got, let's say, you're on the bad side of the scale. You only got one out of that whole six pulls, and that was your mercy. Okay, well that's $80 down the drain. Well, now how many am I going to have to drop for the next four that I need?
Mm-hmm.
And now you've already maxed out that special offer. So now that $80 for that $80 special for 60 now becomes $99 for 30. So you're escalating the cost in order to finish. So lower the mercy count. You're still going to make money at some point, but you're not going to tax your player base and the little bit of the player base that's left that's actually willing to go that distance,
That's true.
because you're not going to have too many people that are able to sustain this economic blow time after time just to keep up competitive in the game, especially in the state of the world that we're in. A lot of people are struggling, a lot of economies are struggling, the cost of everything's going up,
Mm-hmm.
including what our RTS playing experience, which is supposed to be an escape from reality. But unfortunately, the reality of how much everything costs is following us into the game, which shouldn't be the case.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree, 1,000%. Um, it. I think it should be cheaper. Now, I will say this: when in the Players United meetings that we have, um, I stress this point, just being upfront and honest. Like, is there a way to make this cheaper? Because it's a lot, for $100 for 3 pulls, and it's not just here. Okay, Scopely owns, and I'm not talking about the developers who make the game. They don't who work on the game. All right, so I don't. Scopely goes in, they buy IPs, they keep the people in place, and then they change the rules. All right, so I know this because I play Marvel Strike Force. All right, I used to spend on Marvel Strike Force, was going to do content and stuff like that. Scopely bought the IP, and then things that used to be obtainable, you can't even get them no more. They took stuff away out of the game. The new tunes coming in, it's like $600 to get a tune. It's ridiculous to get them to the tier that you need to have them successful to use in like raid and war and stuff like that. Massive power creep, So this is a top down thing pretty much. It happens in all the games that they take over. It seems like, and it makes it hard for people to compete. And I know the people at the top don't think that oh, we're making money, but the people who actually play the game want to enjoy it. And when you have to keep doing that, it takes away from the enjoyment. Go ahead, Squirrel.
I think the thing that, I mean, I don't know whether they're so far out of touch with the game because I don't even know if any of them play, so probably not.
Doubt it.
But I get it. They're a business; they want to make money, but the greed just seems to have took over everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like Justin said, if they actually just lowered some of the costs, make better offers, or even just lower the mercy pools, honestly, more people would spend because the price would be a lot less than what they would potentially have to go the whole way for the 30. So it wouldn't be quite as bad in that sense. But right now, it's unsustainable.
Yeah, at six a pop. They're releasing 6 a month.
Yeah.
That's I can't, like, I just can't, and as a content creator, sometimes they do give us rewards for things and everything like that. So we can have like features and like videos and stuff like that. That's just a part of any content creator program. But even still, it's like it's still a lot to be able to keep up with. It's a lot, and like especially if you have like family. I'm married, I have a wife, I have 5 children. You know, I can't be dropping $500 on a tune. Like, that's ridiculous. I could buy a PS5. Like, when you really think of it in the grand scheme of things, if it was like 50, $60 to get all the tunes, to get 5 of a tune, I would see that, and I think you would sell more. You know what I mean? I would rather have um you know 2,000 people at $60 than 100 people at $200. You know what I mean? Like, it just, to me the math adds up. It makes sense, but um, I don't know what they're gonna do as far as that, as far as price correction and changes. I know that when we have our player meeting, I'll make mention of it, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Just my personal opinion.
There is one other thing that I want to bring up, and it drives, I don't want to say it drives me crazy, but I don't know if it's something that they're willing to acknowledge to you guys in PC meetings, or if they're even willing to acknowledge it on the Discord. But one of the things that has driven me crazy, probably the last month and a half to 2 months or so, is the fact that you've got another Walking Dead game that has literally taken over the talk in several channels on your own server. And we all know what game we're talking about, because a couple
Yes.
of people from this game have jumped on over there full
Yes.
force, even though it's AFK Arena reskinned and everybody knows exactly what it is. But you know what? The level of excitement for All Stars is way higher on RTS's own server than RTS. And everybody exactly knows. Like I said, everybody knows what All Stars is. It's AFK Arena reskinned. But the premise behind it, it's cool. Even if it is, the maps are like SR, because that's literally what it is. It's like SR, and you just let it run on auto, and you just hope that your characters, kill the other team, or if you want to take your time, you can do whatever you need to do to try to get the win. But that strikes me, and it makes me very concerned, because the talk is allowed. There's no mitigation from from anybody in terms of like, hey guys, let's try to keep this to RTS. Hey, let's keep it relevant. There's none of that. So you can
Mm-hmm.
literally freely talk about another game on this game server, and nobody cares, except for maybe a couple of people that maybe try to sway it back toward this direction. But aside from that, it's there's no concern from, or at least no concern being expressed from up top that, hey, everybody else is talking about another game on our channel. What can we do to make our game exciting again? There's none of that.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I will say it is a shame, because several of the people, and including one developer, I won't name anybody in particular, is an ex-player, somebody who played this game for a while, content created for this game for a while, did a lot to contribute to helping build this game. And when there's no concern being expressed in terms of how do we make our product better, that concerns me, because then that just tells me that there's nobody steering the ship. There's nobody at the helm. So right now we're just swaying back and forth and letting the tides take us in and out, but there's no direction. And eventually what happens to any ship that doesn't have anybody at the helm, or that doesn't have any direction and it's adrift, eventually you're either going to run aground or you're going to capsize. And that's when everything just goes haywire. And unfortunately, and I'm just using it as a comparison to what I see happening, unfortunately, with RTS, is if there's no direction, or there's no clear steps forward. Okay, what's the next step? Then eventually the ship is just going to capsize, and either people are just going to abandon ship, or there may be a few that go down with the ship at the end. But at the end of the day, the ship is gone.
Yeah.
One of the big things that I'm hoping for, and maybe it's something that you could bring up, is what is the direction after this WOC? Because everybody knows that post WOC, there's always a hangover. There's always mass retirements. There's always this huge lull in between what happens. And I think that now more than ever, especially over the last calendar year, with everything that's happened since last walk, and then in June when the letter got submitted to Scopely, to the podcast that got released several months ago, to now walk coming up in January, is what does the future look like? All right, Faction Assault came out. Great. You guys have been talking about Faction Assault for almost close to a actual calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
Great. What's the next step forward? Is there a next step forward? Because if not, then it becomes the blind leading the blind.
And that's very, very important what you said. I think that the bleeding can't be stopped, right? And what it is because when people see the other Walking Dead game, um, it's just because it's a time convenience. Like there's paywalls there, there's blockages there, within the game. There are people who moved over, who switched, who are willing to pay funds and stuff like that to play the game, they're willing to pay an RTS. But the thing is that the game's not time consuming. So for example, right, while you just had your statement, while you was just talking, I logged on to the game and I've already finished everything I needed to do for the day. So now I can take the game, I can put it away. I finished all my daily stuff. Done for the day. Finished. Right? And that's what it is about the game. It's like when you get inside RTS, I have to raid. You have to go up against all these hard defenses, and it takes hours upon hours sometime to go through some of the chores and stuff like that. So that's why you hear a big uproar. The graphics design, the characters and stuff like that, and the new Walking Dead game that's out there, you know, it's just easier and more relevant for people to be able to use. So I guess that's where that is coming up. Now, they do need to say something about it on the Discord. I myself have made mention of it too. Somebody asked me a question about it and I answered the question. So I am guilty of that myself. But it's just a fun experience, a fun experience. And you get to have that experience with your guys, you know. My faction from RTS, you know, is over there playing, having a good time. And I guess it's the community part of it, the camaraderie that you've built as to why you starting to see a lot of people just talk about it. Because you still get to share that RTS community. So that's what I think it is, to be honest. You know, we are Walking Dead fans, like of the Walking Dead. We're fans. That's why we play the game. You know, you could play any other game. We could be playing COD and all this other stuff, right? But we choose to stick it out here with RTS because we're fans and we love the Walking Dead content and everything. So
It's a great game. You know, war is obviously the only good thing about it these days, but it is a really good game. It just kind of just let it die, to be fair.
yeah. And to me, this is what happens when greed sets in. I'll just be honest. You know, when you should be more so focused on players. You know, game gotta make money, and you're doing things, you know, to make money. Hitting the hammer on the head. After a while, the nail is already in the wall. It's nothing else you can do. It's no further the nail can go into the wall. It's over with. And I think that's what it is. You know, if you keep coming back to the well, you're going to, you know, make people have like a distaste for stuff, man. And I think that's what happened. The taste of RTS, you know, people are tired of being lied to. They're tired of the same situations over and over again. So, you know, I think that's what
I just find the lack of the how can I say, it's the lack of care in they don't seem to care at all anymore. The communications fell down as well. We don't seem to get any kind of communication from anyone. We rarely see anyone on Discord anymore. I don't ever see any devs, to be fair.
Yeah, gone. No devs. The only ones you see is the moderators, right? You know, so
yeah, I rarely see a nerd now either.
You know, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, if it's coming across as they don't care, then you know it's going to get to the point where the players don't care. Like, well, what's the point?
Yeah, that's true. And it's been fun. You know, it's been a great ride. I like I said, I still love RTS. I'm still gonna, you know, play it. You know, until they decide to close the doors. But it does seem like the doors are closing because there's just nothing from the other end. You know, so I definitely understand the sentiment that's coming with this, and everything. Any other final thoughts? Any final thoughts? I'll share my final thoughts afterwards.
Yeah, I will definitely say that as much as this community has been a very big part of my life the last several years. The friends that I've made, the people that have become real life friends of mine. Those experiences will always stick with me, and I have to thank, regardless of where the state of the game is at right now, I have to thank RTS for that, because there's a lot of people, like I said, that have become actual real life friends, people that I've met face to face, that I probably would have never met if we didn't all find a common love for this game at some point. So I'm thankful for the experiences that I've experienced over the years with the people that I've come to become friends with. Some of them that I love very dearly, and I hope that other people can say the same thing. And I just hope that for whatever time that this game has left, or if there's actual any care for it, that somebody actually invest their time to care and to right the ship, because there still is a lot of potential, and there still is a very strong community that's a part of it. They just have to be tapped into the right way.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, you said it the best. That's it's nothing else for me to add. I've met some really really good people throughout my years in RTS, man, and it's been good. I just want to see things continue to go, see things continue to thrive, and with this first podcast, you can tell that we're very passionate about RTS. You can tell that we care, and we want things to be successful. Now I know that there's a lot of noise always in the background where people at the top, they only want this, but it's not true. And this is why I think this is a good time, and this was a good conversation for us to get out there, so that the average player, the free to play player, these guys can see that the spenders, top people, mid people, they have the same concerns. We want the game to survive. We love playing the game, and it's been fun having this conversation and stuff. We definitely need to do this again. I'm thinking about turning this into like a monthly thing where right on we could talk about characters and stuff like that, and kits and things of that nature, and fits and stuff. So I think this has been really good. But any other words before we go ahead and end it? Because war is coming up too. We got war in 28 minutes.
Warren 28 minutes. Yep.
It's getting ready to go down.
Yep,
All right.
that's the thing, man. We all still enjoy this, and I will say that despite everything, when war comes, you still get pumped for it, and you still want to push for it. So I don't want this thing to die, but I think better or more innovative events that have tunes for free to play, and they can maybe do extra tokens. I don't know, for those of us with those tunes, and then just less time spent overall in game would be the biggest things for me.
Yep, absolutely. I agree there as well too. And it feels like they are trying to counter some of the speed things in some cases, and then in other cases like raids and stuff like that, it feels it's a little extended. But yeah, like you guys been saying, Juice, you, OJ, and Mandy, and everybody, we definitely love the game. We want the game to be successful. We're saying that we're willing to spend, but it has to be worth it. Like, it has to be something that's gonna, catapult us into it and everything. So, but yeah, man, this has been great. And everything like that. For all of you guys out there in the YouTube world, over on Twitch and everything, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna go ahead and chop this up in the podcast here, man. This your boy JustCMTexx. We out. Peace.